One question. Hey man, if you're so tough, why did it take you 2 punches to knock your wife out?
Oh, no. Stop it! Stop
The film opens with our main character, Case Walker, stepping into the MMA cage and dominating his opponent with swift, relentless strikes. During the intermission, his coach approaches him and advises him to slow the pace and stretch the fight into 2 more rounds. Case, however, doesn't agree with this approach. When round 2 begins, he follows his instincts instead, ending the fight immediately with a knockout. His coach, upset by Case's disregard for instructions, fires him on the spot. After the match, Case is approached by his old friend Brody James, who pays him a visit to discuss an upcoming tournament that could define his career. Brody introduces Case to his manager, Micah, and explains that he's scheduled to fight a brutal and infamous boxer named Braga. Brody describes Braga as a cold, calculating machine who dismantles his opponents with ease. He tells Case that Braga is his next opponent and that Micah arranged the matchup. Brody then asks Case to become his trainer, believing that Case's experience and skill are exactly what he needs to win. But Case advises Brody to step away from fighting altogether. This discourages Brody, who then drowns his frustration in alcohol at a bar before storming out. While Case remains behind, he overhears a group of men plotting to provoke Brody into a street fight and record the encounter. Later, in the parking lot, Brody is seen chatting with a woman when these men confront him and start instigating violence. Before the situation gets out of hand, Case steps in and stops the ambush. That night, Case brings Brody home and crashes on his couch. The next morning, Brody wakes him up and once again asks Case to be his trainer. This time, Case agrees. They soon board a flight to Thailand, where the championship fights will take place. Upon arrival, Brody attends a press conference to announce his upcoming fight with Braga. Braga shows up and sits beside him, answering questions from reporters. However, when someone asks a personal question about his ex-wife, Braga's mood shifts dramatically. He flies into a rage, flips over the press table, and causes a scene. Security escorts him backstage, where he continues destroying equipment. Brody watches all this from a distance and begins to question Braga's mental stability, wondering if he should continue with the fight or back out. Meanwhile, Case checks into his hotel room and prepares to begin Brody's training regimen. At the gym, Case meets Matty, Brody's previous coach, who is surprised and disappointed to learn that Case has replaced him. Matty feels disrespected and frustrated by the decision. Case, uninterested in the drama, begins building his own training station, using simple equipment like tires and wooden planks. At the same gym, another seasoned fighter named Cobra arrives and starts sparring with one of the locals. He's known for his arrogance and believes no one can match his strength. When Cobra notices Case, who's not paying him any attention, he walks over and mocks him, unaware of who Case is. Brody arrives and introduces Case to the gym members. Cobra immediately asks Matty to arrange a fight with Case. Brody protests, reminding them that Case is only here to coach. But after Cobra continues to mock his skills, Case accepts the challenge and agrees to spar.
Fucking EMT, man. The old school's about to get... Dude, I can't wait for Cobra to wreck this dude.
Turn them fucking phones off. People want to see me, they gotta pay.
You gonna listen to me? Okay? Take it easy there, all right?
You fucking waste them. Don't pretend like you don't want them out of here, too.
With a powerful final blow, he breaks Cobra's ribs and ends the fight. Maddie intervenes and sends Cobra to the hospital. Shortly afterward, Hugo, the head of the gym, arrives with his associate Micah to assess the situation. Hugo pretends to be concerned about Cobra, but his real motivation is financial. He stands to earn huge profits from the tournament's fixed matches. Seeing Case's capabilities, Hugo suggests that Case replace Cobra in the championship. Case refuses, clearly remembering his troubled past with Hugo and having no interest in competing. One of the young gym trainees, Taj, volunteers to take Cobra's spot. Hugo brushes him off, but Case offers Taj the opportunity to prove himself. In the sparring session, Case goes purely on the defensive, allowing Taj to showcase his skills. Hugo, unimpressed by the friendly nature of the match, calls it off early. A few days later, Micah visits the gym and invites Case on a date. He agrees. Case arrives for the date with flowers and meets Micah's daughter, discovering that she's a single mother. As the evening progresses, they begin to bond, but the mood shifts when Micah admits that she looked into Case's past and found out about his time in prison. Offended and disappointed, Case ends the date abruptly and leaves. From a distance, Maddie observes their meeting and grows curious about their relationship. Later, Hugo meets Brody and Maddie at a restaurant and questions Brody's readiness to face Braga. He suggests that Brody use steroids to gain strength. Brody seems unsure but doesn't resist the idea. Meanwhile, Maddie, still resentful, informs Brody that Case is now dating Micah, the same woman who had once rejected Brody. This revelation angers Brody. In a fit of jealousy, Brody calls Case for a sparring session but attacks him aggressively instead of training properly.
Don't let him get set. Put the chicken away.
Micah later confronts Case and apologizes for digging into his past. Case, being level-headed, forgives her. Eventually, Brody reaches out and invites Case for a meal. Over lunch, Brody confesses that he's overwhelmed. Braga's reputation, the pressure from Hugo, and the demand to take steroids are all taking a toll. He says part of him wants to run away, but another part believes winning this championship will turn his life around. Case tells him that he shouldn't feel pressured and should back out if his heart isn't in it. But Brody decides to fight anyway. The following day, one of Hugo's men approaches Case with a lucrative offer to step in for Cobra. Case declines once again. Infuriated, Hugo retaliates by leaking an old video of Case resisting arrest and fighting multiple police officers. The video goes viral in Thailand, painting Case as a violent criminal. Reporters surround his hotel room. Micah steps in again and helps Case escape the media chaos. She takes him to one of Hugo's quieter properties and urges him to consider joining the tournament, believing in his abilities. Case, however, still refuses to fight. Back at the gym, a new trainer, hired by Hugo, pushes Brody to his limits. During an intense session, Brody collapses in pain. Doctors reveal that he has suffered a serious knee injury and will need surgery, which would take longer than the time remaining before the tournament. Brody's chances of competing are shattered. Hugo uses the opportunity to once again offer Case $1 million to take Brody's place. This time, concerned for Brody's future and wanting to help, Case accepts. Later that evening, while cooking with Micah, Case begins to suspect that Brody's injury may not have been an accident. He believes Hugo orchestrated it to manipulate him into competing. Determined to find the truth, Case sneaks into the gym locker room and breaks into the new trainer's locker. There, he finds messages on the trainer's phone revealing that Hugo had paid him to deliberately injure Brody. Case gathers his allies and Micah at his current residence and exposes Hugo's scheme. He explains that Hugo and Braga have been working together to rig matches, using fighters like Brody and Cobra to make money, only to have them beaten down and humiliated. Case decides it's time to take a stand. He begins intense training to prepare for the upcoming fight against Braga. Hugo holds a final press conference to announce the tournament. Excitement fills the air as the gym members, spectators, and even martial arts legend Tony Jaa show up to witness the showdown. Tony expresses his admiration for Case, cheering him on. Before the official match begins, Case approaches Braga and provokes him into starting a fight. Hugo tries to stop it, realizing that Case is trying to ruin the show and sabotage the event. But Braga loses control and throws the first punch. A violent altercation erupts just before the audience and press arrive.
Hey, Braga. What's your problem? One question. Hey man, if you're so tough, why did it take you 2 punches to knock your wife out?
Stop it! Stop
Afterward, Hugo confronts Case, threatening to sue him for ruining the event. But Case fires back. He presents evidence of Hugo's corruption, proving that he paid someone to injure Brody. Exposed and disgraced, Hugo is left speechless. In the final moments, Brody appears and thanks Case for standing by him and fighting on his behalf, bringing the film to a heartfelt conclusion. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.